But by the way, I was kind of thinking about this today, and I was reflecting on all the people who have told me over the last year to 2 years to be careful what I wish for and be aware that you could always turn into a Nebraska. The grass isn't always greener. All that argument that we've discussed at times in the past, Mark. You notice a program that Iowa fans never bring up when they're trying to defend the current issues? They never bring up Wisconsin. That never gets brought up. Now, part of the reason is because we haven't really seen things transpire yet. But here is a situation where Wisconsin had very similar stability to what Kirk Ferentz has built at Iowa, albeit with a variety of coaches. But they ran the same system. It was established with Barry Alvarez back when he took over the program, continued through Brett Bielema, Gary Anderson, all those guys. And they were consistent. What they do last year, they said, we're going to move on. We're going to change our approach. We're going to have some of the same principles, which is good for the program. We're going to change our approach, hire a different coach, go to the portal, hit it hard. And somehow, Mark, Wisconsin, who at one time, let's not forget the Badgers were the bottom feeders of college football. They were garbage back in the day, right? And yet somehow, at least up until now, we're midway through this 2023 season, they appear that they have not taken a step back as it relates to wins and quality of team, despite all those changes, all those coaching changes, the portal, all that. They've proven, at least to this point, that you can be decent to good the very next year after what some could argue as a huge change or multiple huge changes. So just think about that just for a second. I know that we just wet our pants every time we think about the idea of Kirk Ferentz retiring, but I refuse. I refuse to have that mindset. I refuse to think that, well, Kirk Ferentz retires. Oh, no, just sell the show. I'm going to sell the channel, Mark. It's over. It's all over. Just forget it. We're done. We're back to being garbage. We might as well call Bob Cummings out of the grave, and he might as well come back and coach because it's all over. I mean, I don't believe that that's logical thinking. And it's not fair to use anecdotal evidence with any of this and bring up, oh, well, look at Nebraska or look at Wisconsin. But the reality is it's not as cut and dry as so many people want to make it out to be. And I think there's a lot of things going for this program that make it attractive. And I'll say that until the day Kirk actually decides to leave. And it'll be interesting to see when that happens, if you and I are still alive at that point. But when he decides to leave, what will that conversation be like? And what will our approach moving forward and our speculation on interviews and the hiring process? Like, that's just going to be so foreign because he's been here so long. But I am not fearing that time. And there are people who literally are in fear of that day when Kirk retires. There are people in fear of it, Mark. They fear. They cry themselves to sleep at night. I'm not. I can't bring myself to feel that way. So anyways, I was just thinking about that this morning because I was thinking about Wisconsin, the opponent ahead, and how they really haven't seemed to miss a beat competitively with all these changes. Why are they able to do it, and yet Iowa's destined to be the next Nebraska? Just curious.
What I've been fixated on since you made the comment is our exit before Kirk's.
Well, I mean, if he's here till 2029, who knows, Mark?
Oh, yeah. Who knows? Nobody's promised another day. And I, for the record, hope that my exit is before yours. But according to USA Today, and then we'll get back to the Wisconsin matchup. According to USA Today, they have Iowa forecasted to play in the Las Vegas Bowl against USC. So they obviously don't feel they don't give USC much credit the next 4 weeks, or are not hopeful of them doing much. That's a pretty large cascade down the Pac-12 ranks of bowl slots for USC.
Well, I don't know about that, Mark, because you know what that tells me. You're probably right about that to an extent, but here's what it also tells me. It tells me that those prognosticators are probably predicting Iowa goes 10-2 with a loss to Wisconsin.
They have Michigan in the playoff. They have Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. They have Wisconsin in the Citrus Bowl. They have Penn State in a major bowl game. I'm losing track where it is. So they have all those teams slotted above They have Wisconsin winning the West, I'm sure. It appears that way.
What is the Las Vegas Bowl? Can
What
you
is
remind
it?
me what that? I don't even know what that is.
It's been around for 25, 30 years. The Las Vegas Bowl.
Oh,
It's
okay.
typically been a Mountain West Pac-12 game.
That's why.
And I'm trying to
I mean, I've
think
heard
who
of it.
played in it last year. Shoot,
By
I
the way,
used to.
for Jackson in the chat, you know this, Mark.
Yeah.
I love bowl games. Me making that comment about I don't care where Iowa goes bowling. I love bowl games. I'm just saying in general, these bowl. I'm like you. I don't look at bowl projections because I don't care enough. I'll look at college football rankings, like playoff rankings that actually matter for the scene of college football. But the bowl rankings, so much of that is just politics and corporate led decisions. I just,
Yeah, this is going to change every week, this projection. Somebody's going to lose. This team's going to win. It's going to cascade in a different sense. I would love to see USC and Iowa play. Of course, they played after the 2019 season, except that I'm guaranteed that Caleb Williams won't play in that game.
Well, that's true.
He'll sit out, unfortunately.
The game would be marginal again, just like it was last year when Will Levis set out of Iowa's bowl game. And the other reason why I wouldn't want to see that, Mark, is Iowa gets USC next year. So
yeah. And they're going to be a conference foe coming up. Yeah.
But is it Pac-12 versus Big Ten? That's the matchup. Okay.
So the contract has obviously changed.
So there's a decent chance we're going to see a repeat matchup anyways. If it's Oregon, Washington, USC, or UCLA, then there's a good chance that those teams will play. Whoever they play in the Las Vegas Bowl, they might play the following year in the regular season. By the way, Chris in the chat says that Nebraska in 2016 was not a pretender, Mark. He's calling you out.
A pretender for mediocrity? Correct.
You called them a pretender earlier.
They were clearly a contender for mediocrity.
I figured I would let you have that one, Mark. I mean, like I said, Iowa beat them like 40-10 that year, and you just mentioned the Ohio State score.
Yes.
Where did they go bowling in 2016?
They lost to Tennessee by a couple touchdowns in the Music City Bowl, if I recall correctly.
They lost by 2 touchdowns to Tennessee in the Music City Bowl, and we want to act like that they were actually a really good team. Give me a break. Iowa was in the Music City Bowl last year and won at 7-5.
Yeah, if you're going to the Music City Bowl from the Big Ten, you're what Iowa was last year, what Purdue was the year before. It was an exciting game, a great game, but it was a couple marginal teams, decent teams playing.